Daf Nun Dalet Amud Beis, the second wide line. Tanad Ve'Ravanan, Ma'idachsi. What does it mean when it says in the pasuk Rech ve'asayna tzcharis Yaishe Almidin v'hol chal derech sichre? So the pasuk says those who ride on white donkeys, and those who sit in din, and those who travel on the road, they should speak. So this is a pasuk that is mentioned by Shir's Dvara. Like one of Darshans, what is the reference to? Rech ve'asayna, those who ride on donkeys, Zela Talmid Chacham. That's a reference to Talmid Chacham Shemalchem Me'ir Le'ir Medina L'Dina. Why are they called travelers? Because they travel to learn Torah. L'ilmad B'ay Torah. So they go to learn. They go to the yeshivas, to the rebbeim to learn Torah. They travel. So it's Reche Asaynas and it's Tchoris. They're white. Why is it called white? Why are they with the reference to white? She'osim Masechet Eruvin. Do they make it so clear? They clarify it like the noon, the clear sky. So the portions speak out that this is Tchoris, Tzaraim. Ches and Hey are interchangeable. So Tchoris is like Tzaraim. Yaishe Almidin, they sit in din, Shadon din emes lamitai. They done truthful dinim which are emes lamitai. They done correctly emes lamitai. Jesus and Miguel explains emes lamitai. What's emes lamitai? It's emes. What's emes lamitai? And he explains that not only is the psak halacha correct, but the circumstances are also clarified. They cross-examine the edim. They not only that the psak halacha, the Shulchan Aruch, the psak halacha is correct, but they also are clarified Islam mitoy because all the circumstances are correct as well. V'holche, it says v'holche. It says those that v'holche al derech. So the holche is this ela balei mikra. Those are the ones who balei mikra. They learn the mikra, the psukim, the mikra, the Torah Sheb'Ksav. Al derech ela balei mishnah. Al derech, that's the first of the Mishnah, like the Maharsha explains that the Mishnah is a derech to the Torah Sheb'Ksav. So you have the basic holchei derech, they're learning Torah. The basics of Torah, the basis is Torah Sheb'Ksav. The derech is the Torah Sheb'al Peh, the Mishnah, which is a path to understanding the Torah Sheb'Ksav. Sichu, speak, that's referring to Ela Balei Talmud. Those are a reference to the Talmid Chacham Balei Talmud. They learn the Gemara, Shekol Sichosam Divrei Torah. All of their conversations are Divrei Torah. The Gemara, Talmud, requires discussions. To clarify it, it's not just factual, it requires discussions. So it's a sikha. So perhaps the pshat is, Shekol Sichosam Divrei Torah, Talmud requires discussions. So their whole discussion is Divrei Torah, that's Balei Talmud. Amr Shiz Mishum Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, my Dachsiv, the pasuk in Mishnah says, Lo Yachach Ramiyat Seidai. It says the one who's a Ramiyah, the one who's a Ramai, the one who is a cheater. It says Lo Yachrach, he will not roast what he catches. The person who catches something is a thief, and he's a person who is a Ramai. He won't even be able to get the benefits of what his gneva is. He won't be able to roast the meat, so to speak. So the Gemara Darshans Lo Yichav Lo Yarach Yomim Sayed Ramai. The one who is a Ramai, meaning again we're referring to people who learn Talmid Chachamim. One who is a Ramai in his learning, he tries to fool people to think he's a Talmid Chacham, but he doesn't chazer, he doesn't learn it, he doesn't retain it. So he's not a genuine Talmid Chacham. Lo Yichav Lo Yarach Yomim, he will not have a long life. Roshesha Samar, he learns it, turns it around the different way. Sayed Haramai, the one who uses all kinds of tricks and tachbulas in order to learn properly, to remember his learning. Then he will be able to roast what he catches, what he traps, what he hunts. Meaning the one who does all kinds of things, to try to retain his learning. He chazers, he makes simonim, etc. He's the one that uses his seichel, he uses all kinds of emtsoim to try to retain his learning. He will be successful. He also Ravdimi Amar Mashal Tzayid Tzipar. It's marshal to a hunter that he catches birds. Im Risha and Mishar B'Knavav Mishtamer. So if he catches one bird, if he breaks its wings so he can't fly away, then he goes and catches another bird, he'll still retain the first one. But if he catches a bird and he doesn't break the wings, and then he goes and catches another one, the first one will fly away. So too, if a person's learning, if he doesn't chazer and really chazer it and try to, so that he'll retain the learning that he learned initially, he goes on to learn something else. He goes weiter, he's going to forget, he's going to lose what he already learned. So the one who is a tzadai ramai, the one who uses tachvulus, he chazers what he learns, he captures it, so he has it, he retains it. He says, "My dechsiv hain mehevel yima." So literally the pasuk in Mishlei means that hain mehevel yima. If a person gets wealth by something, by hevel, by deceit, then yimat, it'll be diminished. So if he has hain mehevel from nothingness, from hevel, from vanity, then yimat. The kaivis al yad yarba. But if a person accumulates it little by little, then yarba. So it's hain mehevel that he gets it from theft and it'll be lost. But kaivis al yad, if a person earns honestly and he saves and bit by bit, then yarba. So now again, the Gemara applies it to someone who's learning Torah. Im Aisadam Terasa Chavilas Chavila is if a person makes a Torah big bundles, he gathers up big bundles, meaning he learns a lot of the Torah, but he doesn't chazer it. He doesn't chazer it over and over. So then mismayit, then his learning will be diminished. He'll forget everything. But V'im Lav Kayvus Halyad Yarba. But if not, he does a little by little. He learns, then he chazers, and then he goes and learns a little more. Then, kayziyad, he accumulates bit by bit. Then he will, at the end of it all, he will have a lot. He will yarbe, he'll have an abundance of knowledge. So the Talmidei Chacham know this. They're aware of this, but nevertheless, they don't practice it. The temptation to not to chazer is so great, even though they know that this is true, but they don't put it to practice. He said he did put it to practice. He learned and chazered, and it was he retained it, remained with him. Tan Rabban Kates at Seder Mishnah. How was the Torah given over after Har Sinai? How was the Torah given over from Moshe Rabbeinu to Klal Yisrael? Kates Seder Mishnah, Moshe Lama Piagvor. Moshe Rabbeinu learned the Torah from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Then Nechtes Aaron Mishana Moshe Pirkei. Then Aaron came in, and Moshe Rabbeinu taught to Aaron a kind. He taught him what he had learned from the Rebbeinu Shalom. Nistalik Aaron v'Yashav l'Sol Moshe. Then after Aaron was finished learning, he moved to Moshe Rabbeinu's left. And then Aaron's sons came in, and Moshe Rabbeinu taught them Torah as well. Nistalku Banav. Then when the sons were finished, Elazar Yashav Limin Moshe. Elazar sat to the right of Moshe Rabbeinu, v'Yisamar l'Smol Aaron, and Yisamar to the left of Aaron. Rabbi Yehuda Omer la'olam Aaron limin Moshe chayzer. He said that no, that Aaron at this point he moved over to the right because it's more. That's a chashuva place, and Aaron was more had to be given more chashivas than the sons. So Aaron went over to Moshe Rabbeinu's right. That's where he got up and went to the right. Then if the Zakanim Shalom Moshe Pirkei, then the Zakanim came in, and Moshe Rabbeinu taught them as well. Nistal because Zakanim, then they finished, and Nifzu Kolam Shalom Moshe Pirkei, and then Moshe Rabbeinu taught to the entire nation. Nimsa Biyad Aaron Arba. So at that point, Aaron learned the Torah 4 times. Biyad Bana Shleisha, and his sons 3 times, and Biyad Zakanim Shnayim, or Biyad Kolam Echad, and the people learned it 1 time. Then Nistalka Moshe Rabbeinu left. V'sharalem Aaron Pirkei. Then Aaron taught to everybody. Then he taught the Torah to everybody else that was present. Nistalka Aaron. Then he finished, and Aaron left. And Sharalem Bana Pirkei. And then his sons taught it to everybody else. Nistalkabana, Shalom Zakenim Pirkan. Then they left, and the Zakenim taught to the nation, they taught the Torah. Nims B'Yarakol Arba. Then, it is therefore, as a result, everyone had a minimum of at least 4 times when they learned the Torah. He said, from here you see, you see that a person has to teach to his Talmidim 4 times. And we can learn it from a Rebbe to a Talmud, a Kal V'chaimer, from this case. Aaron learned from the greatest Rebbe, from Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu learned it directly from the source, from the Rebbeinu Shalom Kach. Nevertheless, it was 4 times. Hedget, if you have a person, a Hedget, learning from another Hedget, you don't have Moshe Rabbeinu, you don't have the Rebbeinu Shalom. Alachas Kamal Kama, certainly a Kal V'chaimer, that it has to be at least 4 times. Rabbi Kiva says, how do you know what's the makor, the source, that you have to teach your Talmud? Whatever it takes, until he understands it. Shenemar v'lomdas b'nei Yisrael. Teach it to b'nei Yisrael. They have to be taught. So whatever it takes. How many times it takes. How do you know you have to teach it to them to the point where it's fluent? Shenemar sima b'fiyam, fluent in their mouths. How do you know that the Rebbe has to teach the Talmud the svaras, the reasons for it? These are the mishpatim that you put before them. So you put before them doesn't just say that you teach them, you put them before them like a shulchan aruch, like a set table, that they have it there, it's all clarified, and they understand it, and it's readily accessible. Frank the Gemara, why did they have this Seder of the Limud? The Limud Kulam Moshe. Why didn't they all just at the same time learn it 4 times from Moshe Rabbeinu? Why did they have to go step by step, Moshe Rabbeinu to them, and then Aaron to them, etc.? What it says, to give covet to the different classes of Klal Yisrael that Aaron, Moshe Rabbeinu taught them, then Aaron taught them, and then his sons, and then the Zakenim. Correct the Gemara. V'neil Aaron v'nigmar Moshe. We'll let Aaron learn it from Moshe. V'leil Bona v'ligmar Aaron. And then why don't the sons learn it from Aaron? Why did they also learn it from Moshe Rabbeinu? V'leil Zakenim v'leil from Ibona. And let the Zakenim learn it from Aaron's children. V'leil v'ligmar l'kula Yisrael. And let them go then teach it 4 times to Klal Yisrael. More answers came in the Moshe Pia Gvura Gomar, and since Moshe Rabbeinu learned it from the Rebbeinu Shalom Mistayim Elsa, the learning will be more successful if Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that, at least initially, that Moshe Rabbeinu was the one that taught it to them. So therefore, everybody learned it at least once from Moshe Rabbeinu, which was a direct connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Omer Ma Rabbi Yehuda Omer Lo Elo Aaron Leimin Moshe Chayzer. Rabbi Yehuda says that Aaron went from the left to the right. When the sons came in, he went over to the right. So Kaman Azla Hadasanya, according to whom does the following brisa follow? It says, Shleisha Yom Alchem B'derech, 3 people were traveling on the road. Harav B'emsa, the Rebbe's in the middle. The Gadol B'Mira, then from the Talmidim, the one that's greater is on the right. Katan B'Smala, and the Katan is on the left. Lema Rabbi Yehuda, Hivalei Rabbana. Let's say it's Rabbi Yehuda, not to Rabbanan, because see over here, the Rabbi Yehuda was makbid that Aaron should go to the right, so he's the one that says that the Choshev has to go to the right. Mar says Afilu Tim Rabbana. You can even say it's going to the Rabbanan. Mishum Tirchad Aaron. But perhaps generally speaking, they would agree that the Gadol, the great one, has to go to the right. But over here, why do they say that Aaron does not have to be chayzer to the yamin? Because it's a tircha, he's already sitting on the left, and the small, we say he should stay there and not have to be matriach to go to the right. Rav Preida had a Talmud. In order to have him understand it, you would have to teach him over a sugya 400 times. But after that, he understood it. One day, he was called to do a certain mitzvah. So he was going to have to get up and go to a certain mitzvah. But in the meantime, he was teaching that Talmud Torah. Tana, he started teaching that that Talmud, but v'lo Yomer. But the Talmud didn't chop. He wasn't able to understand it. Omer later afraid to ask him, why is today different than all the other days? All the other days were able to understand. What's different by today? Omer le, he said, he said from the moment that they said to my master, the mitzvah, that there's a mitzvah to attend to. So he said, I didn't have my full concentration. I had my attention was diverted. Because I thought, I thought that any moment, Kaimar, he's going to get up now and leave. Again, he's going to get up right away. Okay, now pay attention, concentrate, and focus, and I'll teach it to you again. So he taught him another 400 times, and then he chopped it. Nafka Baskal, and Baskal went out. After he did this great thing, he taught him 400 times again, and it said, would you prefer as a reward that you have another 400 years of life? Or that you and your generation should be Zeicher for Olam Haba? He said, my wish is that me and my generation should be Zeicher for Olam Haba. To loizu v'zu. Give him both. He should have baror. He should have both of them. You can't acquire Torah without simonim. You have to make simonim to aid you in remembering the Torah. Shenemer sima b'fiyim. It says that this is a Torah sima b'fiyim that you should literally put in their mouths. Al tikra sima ela simona. Read it as simona, that you should have simona. Make symbols for the Torah. Shomer Tachlif Rava. So he heard about this and this memra, and also Amr coming to Rabbo, and he said in front of Rabbo, Amr Atam Masnita. You learn it from that Bakor, from that source. Anan Mach Masnita. We have a different source. We learn it from this source. It says Hatzivilach Tzionim Similach. Set up signs and make for yourself signs. So also tziyunim l'Torah. Make signs for the Torah. Make signs, simonim, that you'll be able to remember your learning. Where do we see that it seems the lashon of a siman? It says when you see a bone, so you have to put a tziyun by it. You have to put a sign by it. You have to put a sign that this is where the bone is. So therefore, we learn out that Tziyun is the lashon of a siman. You have to make a siman. So for your learning also, you make a siman. Rabbi Elazar Amar Mehach, he says it from the following pasuk. Emor l'chachma chaysiat, say to chachma that you're my sister, umayda labina tikra, and say to bina, to wisdom, and say to bina, understanding that you're a relative. I say moidoim l'Torah, so make signs for the Torah. Like a relative, something you're familiar with, so make signs that the Torah should be familiar to you. Rav Amar Asay Mo'adim l'Torah, not Mo'idoim, not relatives, but Mo'adim. A Mo'id, an appointed time. You should make an appointed time for the Torah. That the Torah should be at an appointed time. You have a Seder Kavua that you don't miss and you don't violate. And that's what he said regarding the following pasuk. That it said it's not in the Shemaim, it's not in the heavens. And it's not on the other side of the ocean. What does it mean? Means that it's not in Shemaim. Meaning, if it would be in the heavens, you'd have to go get it, but it's not. But if it would be, you still have to go and find it. And if it would be there on the other side of the ocean, you would be. It's not. But if it would be, you would have to. So therefore, you see that if Torah is so difficult or so far away, you would have to do whatever you could to be able to learn and retain the Torah. So therefore, you have to do whatever you can, even if it would be in the Shemaim or Me'er Yam. It's not. But the point is that you have to do whatever is necessary to learn Torah and whatever is required under the circumstance. So if you have to make simanim so that you'll remember the Torah, do all kinds of things to ensure that you'll learn and remember the Torah. Rav Amar Loi B'Shamayim, he says it's not B'Shamayim, like Timsa B'Misha Magbia Daitala Kashamayim. You won't find Torah in someone who is a Balgaiva, he's arrogant, and he is someone who is, his mind is high like the heavens, like the Shamayim. So, therefore, someone who is the way he thinks he's so great, and therefore he doesn't put in the required effort to it because he thinks he's so smart, he doesn't have to learn a chazer. Marsha says he thinks he doesn't need a rebbe. You won't find Torah in him. So you won't find it also in one who thinks is so broad, his understanding is like broad like the ocean, and therefore he can learn Torah easily, and therefore he does not have to chazer it, and he therefore doesn't have to chazer it and review it. He won't. If someone who thinks his mind is so great, and he doesn't have to hurry over the learning, he doesn't have to put the chazor in it or find the proper rebbeim to it, you won't find Torah in that type of a person. You won't find Torah in people who are balei gaiva. You won't find the besarchanim, the travelers, people who travel on business, and not with people or peddlers. You won't find it for people that have to go and travel across the ocean. People have to go from place to place. You won't find it in a Balgaiva. The Torah doesn't rest in a person who is a Balgaiva. Now, he doesn't say it specifically, and not necessarily only because he doesn't put in the required effort. The Pshan Rav Yochanan he's adding is, and saying a little differently, is that it won't be found in a Balgaiva, even if he does learn about Smara. And it won't be found in those who have to travel on business because they won't be able to have set times and be kaveh themselves and be shakua in learning. It won't be found by those type of people.